Here we go. Aaron McCarthy actually is starting us out. Game number 1 of 4 here in this Cashier's round.
What a performance she did last night. As tired as everybody was, to throw enough to get into this top 32. Her and Jackie are the only two ladies.
Yeah,
out here.
That's true.
Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Nice open this morning. I was listening. Welcome to all the viewers in this morning. What a great day of bowling we're in store for today. Just wanted to update everybody. AJ Rice is not here. He did not make it in this morning, and we're waiting for a response here via Facebook Messenger. He's been typing for like the last few minutes, so I don't know if I'm getting a novel or what, but he is not here, and I don't know if he missed the memo on it starting at 8 a.m. Or what it is, but we've put Chris Hester in play. He's the highest finishing position on the sheet. That's in the building, yeah.
Right,
and we are going to address this in years in the future. We've never had this happen, someone not show up for the top 32. We're going to get something built into the rules that if you're not here at roll call, we will take the highest position player in the building.
I have a question then. If AJ does show up, he's just not allowed to bowl?
He would receive zeros for any frames.
Ah, okay.
So at this point, it would be best for Hester. So looks like he's injured. He did something to his foot last night. It was bowling 24 games. When he got back to his room, it just wasn't feeling well. He didn't mean a no call, and he kind of overslept this morning anyway. So that is the situation with AJ Rice. So there you go, guys. I'm going to continue doing my thing.
Thanks,
you guys
Mike.
do your thing, and good morning to all the viewers.
Thanks, Mike. There you have it. That's the story behind Chris Hester getting into the top 32. How awesome is that for Chris that he showed up?
Well, Chris bowled twice yesterday, trying as well, and he had a decent look early. It looked like on a couple of the squads, and then I don't know what happened, especially when he got to the other side. The other side of the house. This is a split house, 26 lanes on each side of a central concourse that runs throughout this 52-lane center. We're watching the high side today, and we're going to be over here all day today. But in order to get all the qualifying done, we have to use both sides. And that side, we learned yesterday from Bo, sitting here as we were talking about before. For the entire history of this bowling center, that side has always played tighter than the side that we're on right now. And that wasn't good for some of the players that got over there, and their first games were not good at all. And I don't know how Chris liked it over there. He's coming in here cold with no practice. I can't imagine doing that on this pattern too. And he's right here in front of us on 39-40. But it's cool that he gets here. Question in the chat about AJ: does he forfeit the money, or do him and Chris split it? Well,
That's a good question.
AJ is a casher still, so he's not going to forfeit his cash. And I would imagine it would be up to him and Chris what happens on anything that Chris earns above the $500 that both of them would get for being a casher. And everybody from 33rd to 51st all got $500. The idea there is it's enough to cover their entry, a re-entry, give them $100 profit, and a brand new bowling ball.
That's awesome.
So that's why it is what it is. So I would imagine all he has to do is talk, and if it were me, I'm just saying if it were me, I would say go Chris Hester, basically, and do what you can do. I mean, because I'm not here, and it sounds like he didn't intend to show up anyways. He just didn't want to call in the middle of the night and overslept this morning, so that's what happened.
Yeah, there you have it.
So, guys, we're watching 31-2. This has been a featured pair all weekend. It's not been one of the higher scoring pairs in the house. It's kind of funny how, people have been picking on 47 and 8 all year and saying that one is not the greatest pair in the world, and it's the one we use for our finals. But 31-2 for some reason, and there's no big lights or anything like that on it to affect the lane condition. So
very true.
It's just weird that one there would be one of the lower scoring, but it's about 10 pins lower, it seemed like, across the house, or across the squads yesterday. But that's one of them we're going to watch. And our first grouping is the folks who finished 9th through 12th, that would be Matt Gasson, John Trzynski, Brandon Novak, and Brandon Hott.
I thought we saw Aaron McCarthy on that pair.
You know what? I wonder why.
I don't know what's going on here because that's
Unless we saw her. She
she
is.
is bowling on the third pair from the left.
Well, then.
That should be Matt Gasson. Yeah, but no, instead it's Jacob Gens, Matt McNeil, Kyle Wilkes, who cares? Who knows? Aaron
maybe
McCarthy.
they're not using 27 and 8. That's what's going on. The first pair is 29. No, they are.
They are using 27 and 8. George Gohagen is on it. It looks like. J.R. Raymond is on
All right,
it.
so
Matt Gasson is on that.
Next to them is Dave.
So this is not accurate. Okay, so they are grouped together. They're just not grouped in order. They are grouped by 4, but they're not grouped on pairs in order. Matt Gasson is on 27 and 8. He just bowled. There's J.R. Raymond down on that pair. There's Dave Wadka on 29 and 30. So that's the first grouping. Matt McNeil is on 29 and 30 as well.
Well, that's where he would belong if.
But Dave Wadka is on that pair.
Where's Gasson and Trzynski?
Gasson is on 31 and 2.
And that would be right.
Yeah.
Where's Novak and Hott?
I think that's Hott getting ready to bowl now and on the right.
Trzynski just
That's
threw
Joe. He just threw
on
31. So they're not in order. No, they are in order because they're on the right pair. Trzynski and Hott are on the right pair. So we apologize there. We'll just got some out of order assignments, I guess.
I think we're going to find out where they're supposed to be. I mean, to start out with, at least we'll know who's grouped together. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either. I can go find out if you want to hunker down.
Let's look in front of us here. Let's just figure out what we got
Sure.
here. These people on 41 and 42 should be the last 4 people on the list.
And that is Jackie Carbonetto.
McCormick.
Wesley Edwards, is he on? He's on the list.
He's right here, and that's Austin Bolts.
Okay.
So those all work. Danny Spink, Jeff
He's on
Fair,
the pair, yeah. Jeff Fair. David O'Sullivan.
and Chris.
And Chris Hester
To
on
replace AJ,
39
so
and 40.
that works.
That's correct. Jimmy Cook then on 37 and 8. I know he's there.
Why don't I take this and you go
there's
down there and figure out what's going on in those first
Ken
2
Abner.
pairs.
Okay, I'll be right back.
We'll figure it out. So Aaron McCarthy up on lane 32 now, and it looks like this is her 4th frame. She had an open in the second, but she's got a decent reaction from the out, and it seems like the ladies can do that for a while. That doesn't last as long as we thought it was going to, I guess, or as long as some of these bowlers thought it to for the right-handers on the outside. The lefties have been able to play out, needed to play out because of the lack of traffic on that side of the lane for most of this tournament. This is a 46-foot lane pattern, 30.25 total mils of oil on the lane. It's the 6th iteration of the InsideBowling.com lane pattern. It's their own lane pattern. It doesn't have a name except for ours. It's designed by Kegel, and Kegel actually has. Excuse me, I don't have a cough button. I need a cough button, I guess. Kegel actually sends a representative up here to oil these lanes for us during the weekend. We're using the 2 house machines that were here at Tropicana Lanes, but they condition these lanes and run tapes every squad to make sure that what the machine's doing is what we want it to be doing. So these guys are going to bowl on this for 4 games this morning, and then we are going to recondition the lanes before the top 12 round robin. We expect these 4 games here to last about 2 hours, so that'll take us to in the 10:20 to 10:30 range. And time to oil the lanes will bring us to 11:30 would give these guys a chance to get something to eat before the 12 grueling games this afternoon as well. So that's kind of where we are now. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I guess. Just getting asked if a 10-pin fell in front of me. I wasn't watching that. I was watching the monitor in front of me so that I could talk to you guys about what's going on. But it looks like there was a question on whether a 10-pin fell on lane 42. Aaron McCarthy now trying to capitalize here and grab another strike at the top of 31-2, and she gets that one to go in, but it almost leaves a 7-10, and the 10 falls out, leaves a 7-pin standing there. So that's going to put her in the 90s in the 5th frame.
All right, guys, I'm back, and there are some changes, some shuffling around that happened. I do have right here in front of me a lane assignment sheet,
Okay.
and this is kind of cool because now we can figure out here in a few minutes who's going to be where for each of the 4 games.
Okay.
27 and 8, we're going to have Matt Gass and George Gohagan III, Rob Gottschall, and J.R. Raymond. And that is accurate according to our standing sheet.
Right.
And it looks accurate
Right.
visually. 29 and 30, we have Jacob Gens, Dave Watka, Matt McNeil, and Kyle Wilkes, which is incorrect. Matt Gass and Jake Gens are flip-flopped. Aaron McCarthy is just completely missing from the second group according to the standings. Anyway.
That doesn't matter to me as long as I know where
Sure.
they're going. You know what I mean?
31 and 2, our stream pair, which you're watching right now, is Aaron McCarthy, John Trzynski, Brandon Holt, and Brandon Novak.
Okay.
33 and 34, Tim Barrett, Brett Shepard, Charles Easton, and Ryan Powers, who's bowled really well yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. 35 and 6, Cameron Doyle, Kevin Williams, Brad Miller, and Jason Wajnar. 37 and 8, Jimmy Cook, Adam Pog, Ken Abner, and Kyle Anderson. 39 and 40, Jeff Fair, Chris Hester, David O'Sullivan, and Danny Spink. And then 41 and 2, which we know is right, Jackie Carbonetto, Wesley Edwards, Austin Bowles, and Rick McCormick.
Adam Pogge.
Pogge.
Yep.
Okay.
From his own mouth.
Okay.
On a microphone officially yesterday.
So now their skip is 1, 2, 1.
Skip is 1 pair, 2 pairs, and 1 pair. So that means that we're going to see the leaders on our featured pair.
So yeah, so we're
on
looking
the
at
second game.
31 and 2.
So I'd like to welcome our fan. Actually, there's a couple in there. I'm just picking on you.
Oh. I was like, wait a minute.
What?
Well,
there's 138 people watching us this morning at this point already. You guys are freaks, I'm telling you. I said it yesterday, and I'm saying it again. Anybody? Well, I think it's kind of cool. I would imagine most of you are from like Europe and stuff because it's the middle of the day over there. And I know we're that famous, right? That's. So that's
you never know, though.
That's the cough slider. I got it. I coughed on the microphone a few minutes ago.
Oh, yeah, there's no button. There's just a slider.
Okay, got it.
You have to kind of anticipate when it's going to happen.
Right.
I guess. 31 and 2, 31 and 2.
We had a little dead wood down at 31 and 2, and Mike's too busy to go get it, so we had to have an actual person who works here go get it. So that happened.
That happened. That's funny.
We had a nice instant replay of Mike going down the
Yeah, we
gutter caps
did.
last night. You'll be able to see it if you watch the D squad. It'll be in the archived footage. Here's Brandon Holt on the right lane, 32. Smash 7-pin. Smash.
So here, I have lane assignments now, as long as the skip is right, and I figured it right. Who's going to be where on our featured pair?
Cool.
For the 4 games.
Very nice. So you're going to be able to see, and the last game, it's going to have some of the folks who you would expect to be fighting for that top 12 position. We're going to have Tim Barrett, Brett Shepard, Charles Easton, and Ryan Powers, who currently are 13th through 16th. Assuming that things work out the kind of way we think they're going to this morning, those guys should be fighting for a spot in the top 12, so it's going to be cool.
Cool is the other side of the pillow, Dennis.
Yeah. Do you see the request in the chat right now, Matt?
No, I'm working on.
They're asking if we can adjust the camera so we can show all 4 scores. The tournament info in the bottom is blocking that. So
what I was doing.
Mark Bowers in the chat is asking if there's a prize fund posted on the website. There is. If you go to the InsideBowling.tv page and down below the picture at the top, you'll see an event information tab, and the prize fund is posted there. Mike just knows the total prize fund off the top of his head, and it's in the high 40,000s. I will tell you that there's $21,500 going to be awarded tonight in that top 5. The bottom pay spot in the top 5 is $1,500. I believe 6th place gets $1,000. Then it goes to $900, and it goes down in $20 and $10 increments down to $500 on the bottom. And each of the cashers received the $500 that we were talking about.
Looks like total prize fund, according to the sheet on the event information tab, $48,700.
Right.
Based off of 255 entrants.
255. $195 of the entry fee, which is what the cost to re-enter. So the entire re-entry fee goes into the prize fund. Typically in tournaments like this, when they bowl 8 games, you'd see a lineage charge in that entry fee, and that doesn't get taken out for this tournament. That is handled by the tournament itself. So the $195 from the entry fee goes into the prize fund. It is cool that happens. The couple of misfortunate things that happened as far as scheduling this year cost us easily 60 entries. I didn't even think about the idea that Team USA is bowling in Mexico, and those kind of guys would be here.
About that.
They'd be running all over this place this weekend if there wasn't a Team USA event, and who knew that at the time? The Collegiate Nationals were held this weekend in Wichita, and it didn't keep everybody from getting here. Brett Cunningham got here. He was in Wichita, and he got here to bowl this event, and then we also there's a PBA national title at stake in Chicago this weekend.
Yep, very true.
And a couple of past champions bowling up there this weekend, and a couple of folks who have entered almost every year of the tournament as well. So Rodney Burr's asking for the path to the prize fund again. Absolutely, I can do that for you. It's InsideBowling.tv. What you want to do, and this is a good suggestion from Matt yesterday, is open 2 tabs at the top of your screen. Go to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/InsideBowling, and you can chat with us. Like that's where you are right now. Otherwise, I wouldn't even see the question that you asked. So that's a good job there. Open a second tab and go to InsideBowling.tv, and all the paperwork that you'd normally see here is linked to that information, our event information tab down below the picture at the top. And you will see updated standings every time. As soon as we're reading them on the air, you're going to see them. You're going to see them on the bottom of the screen as well. I think that was a shot. Ricky gave me a shot here. Hope you brought your magnifying glass. That's what these are, I guess. Nice job, Ricky. So we got some pretty cool statistics here, and we were playing with them all weekend. These numbers. We have total averages by pair, and we can tell you what the averages were right-handers versus left-handers for the tournament. And just to give you, and these will probably show up on that event information tab for you to crawl through yourself as well. But just to kind of look at the total overall, the tournament statistics. Right-handers bowled 1,832 games and averaged 195.91. Left-handers bowled 208 games and averaged 194.15. So a difference of 1.75 pins per game between lefties and righties in this tournament.
Dennis, we're joined here by a special guest, He's been here all weekend. We showcased him last night selling jerseys like the Dickens. It's the brand manager from Logo Infusion, our title sponsor here at the tournament, Brandon Allred. Brandon, what's up?
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you doing today?
You know what? If I said I was wide awake right now, I'd probably be lying. but you know, we're awake and functioning, hanging out.
That's good.
That's kind of what I felt like too, Brandon. Whenever I came in here this morning, Mike looked at me back in there and he says, "Dennis, are you all right?" because I guess I wasn't as maybe idiotic as I normally am. I don't know, but I was just I guess I'm pacing myself. There's a lot of idiocy to come.
Yeah, there sure is. We're going to be here a while today.
The day's young.
The day is young.
Here's Brandon Holt. Brandon's got a decent game going. 7 spare turkey, 9 spare strike. Comes in high there, leaving the 3-6.
Nice job on that spare call that quickly there, Matt.
Yeah, and it dropped to 6.
Oh, boy.
So while we wait for that to get set up, let's shoot on over to our other bonus coverage pair here. 37 and 38. You're watching it there. 37 and 38, we have Jimmy Cook. Pogge?
Pogge? Yep, very good. Very good on the second effort there.
Ken Abner and Kyle Anderson.
So we're using and we haven't got statistics from 27 and 8s because we haven't used it all weekend. We needed to use it this morning because to the right of lane 42, which is the last pair being used for this Cashers round of 4 games, the lanes are stripped and they are building in the room that they need for the set for this evening. So just like if you've ever been at a national PBA event where during the time that we are actually bowling match play finals and whatnot, they've got part of the center partitioned off and starting to build what we need for a production set. That's exactly what's going on here right now. The right-hand side and one of the featured pairs from the weekend, 47 and 8, are all being worked on. And so 27 and 8 is in place. I don't have any statistics from them guys. Whoops. What
was that?
That was a collision between my glasses and my microphone. Yes. So the pairs over here on this side, for the most part, are pretty consistent. It was the other side that gave us some questionable numbers during the weekend, but 29 and 30 is 198. 31 and 2 is 195. 33 and 4 is 198. 35 and 6 looks like a good pair at 201, and that I can kind of say that we were watching those guys all weekend. 37 and 8, I'm surprised at. We were watching them as well, and they dropped to 189. Doesn't seem like it would be that. We've seen some pretty big games come from there. Brendan, I don't know if you saw what happened or listened to what was going on with Chris Hester taking A.J. Rice's spot this morning.
I did overhear some information. Sounded like A.J. injured himself or something like that.
Injured himself and decided this or found out that he was as injured as he is in the middle of the night last night whenever he got back to his hotel room. And for most of us, that was probably 1:30 to 2 o'clock.
Exactly.
So he wasn't sure what was going on over. He didn't realize these guys were working as hard as they were until 3 because Ricky Matsko posted on Facebook that he didn't get home until 3 a.m. and back on the road at 5:30 this morning. So that was a short night.
I saw that as well. Goodness gracious, man.
So, but anyways, AJ didn't realize that until the middle of the night and didn't want to bother anybody with it and intended on waking up this morning and calling in and then compounded everything by sleeping a little later this morning than he intended to, which I would expect if you already had in your mind said I'm not bowling this morning, then why in the world wouldn't your body say I need this sleep and take the opportunity? So
rest and relaxation, man.
So Chris is out here bowling and has a chance to make a little more than the $500 he already had coming to him for being a casher in this tournament.
He's not bowling too bad either for no warm-up whatsoever.
Right, exactly. I was wondering what he was doing. He was dragging bowling balls down the steps because I knew he wasn't in the top 32 in there. Then Mike came on and told us what was going on. So it's a good thing the booth cam's not on right now because Matt's getting dressed here in the booth as we're sitting around. And looks like he's going roving. I didn't.
Yeah, I was just getting ready for it.
Cool.
That way we can check out scores on the low end or on the unfeatured pairs.
Appreciate that. Aaron McCarthy's playing out this morning. This is her game on the top right. She's the A bowler on that pair. And she's had a pretty decent reaction, but I didn't see what happened on that 7 count there.
3-6-10 looked like it was just a little bit left inside of target.
Her and Jackie, the only 2 ladies in this field of 32 this morning. Jackie Carbonetto. Little shaking of hands. I see Danny Spink out there letting a 10-pin go into the gutter and shaking his hand. And we were commenting this morning while they were warming up that I said, I know you have to be soft on this pattern, but there's people who are throwing a lot softer than I saw them yesterday, and I think it's because of the way their hand feels this morning.
Absolutely. Bright and early, a lot of bowling yesterday. I'm sure some of the guys did multiple squads. I mean, you're in at 16 games. You're up early in the morning. Hands probably a little swollen, I'd imagine, from the bowling and the fact that it's 8 a.m.
Brett Shepard threw 24 games yesterday. All 3
boy.
squads.
That's a lot of bowling, man.
And Brad Miller did 3 squads, but he did it Friday night and then afternoon and evening. I'm sorry, Chase Rhodes, I didn't see your question in the chat. I'm not ignoring you. What was the cut number? Cut number was plus 109 for the top 32. That was Wesley Edwards from Kansas City. Bottom cash spot went to Joe Nolan from St. Louis, and we're proud of Joe for that at 60 over. So 60 over got you $500. Wesley Edwards right now is sitting at that $500 mark, but can improve his standing today, and you can see what he could earn by going up the standing sheet there on that event information tab. You'll be able to see these. We're going to tweet the scores out. I hope I'm doing that right because I don't do Twitter often enough. I have an account, but I don't do it often enough. So I think we are posting that on their Twitter page. It's also posted every game on Facebook, facebook.com/InsideBowling. And you can find it on, you can find that plus a whole lot of other information on InsideBowling.tv. And there's an event information tab down below that if you click on that, it's a drop down and it gives you a choice of a whole lot of information from this whole weekend that you can sit and read to your heart's content. So enjoy.
Plenty of stuff to do, that is for sure.
And, you know, it's what I like is, you know, we've got enough. It's different than a lot of tournaments. A lot of tournaments you've got just one guy who really knows everything that he wants to go on, and nobody else that's like-minded that can go off on their own and do things without being asked and say, hey, I think people would like to see this kind of stuff, so I'm just going to do it. And I don't need permission to do it. I don't need to be told to do it. I'm just going to do it. And that's Ricky Matsko. He's got an official title. I believe he was the assistant tournament manager or tournament director. Jerry Anderson's a tournament director, so I think Ricky Matsko was a tournament manager in there. They've moved his office out here to the concourse today so that he can work with us a little bit better. But Ricky just came up with these pair-by-pair averages and right versus left averages and posting all those things on this tab for you guys, and also tweeting these things out so that you guys can see them themselves.
He's keeping pretty busy, that's for sure.
Yep. John Thayer says, "Morning, Ricky." He can't hear you. He's not tuned in to what we're saying today, but we'll sure pass your wishes along, John. Thanks for that.
He's listening.
He's listening?
Yeah, he's listening. Sorry, I was too far away.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize he was listening. So
he just can't talk back.
Gotcha.
Hey, J.R. Raymond shot 188 the first game, guys.
That's not the way a tournament leader is supposed to, or close to the tournament leader is supposed to do on the first game, Matt. That's not a good strategy for him.
Yeah, that's not the
You should go down and tell him. Don't you think?
No.
No?
I got to get closer.
No.
I got to get closer.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass on that
Yeah,
suggestion.
I would say that's probably not a good thing to do, yeah. JR right now is sitting in second place. He's 247 over right now. He's 21 pins behind George Gohagen. Did you get a glimpse of what George was doing for his first game, Matt? These guys are going to be on our featured pair on the second game, so you're going to get a chance to see what their second game will be.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
There we go. George had 232.
Good for him.
That's a good start.
So that puts him at 300 over after the first game here today. And Ricky was kind of chiming in the chat saying 232, and it's what you do. Yeah, it is what you do. Yesterday he was even color coding our printouts. Thanks for Ricky's got a bird's eye view on that first pair down. 180 for McNeil with an open in the 10th.
Whoops.
Matt Ramona, it's. Do you look at your clock, dude? It's California, and it's like what, 7 something out there now?
They love bowling. What do you want him to say?
Well, he's in the chat. He says, "Good morning from California. I love watching the streams."
Jimmy Cook had 214 on 37 and an 8.
Good. 179 for Wadka. So that's not a very good. That pair should be out of play. No, I'm just kidding. It's just difficult. But slow here and right. Miss May says Wadka had a slow start yesterday. 2 comebacks. And he's right. And I'm just picking on you, Matt Ramona. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad that you guys get up and watch us do this in the morning. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Off camera here, just as a quick mention, Chris Hester left the 5-6-9 and then proceeded to spare it in the 10th frame.
Wow.
5-6-9 leave. He's left-handed for the record.
And he's using he's looking at 187 with no practice coming in that quickly. So.
I consider that a successful game 1 because I don't know how well I'd be able to move after a whole bunch of bowling yesterday and no practice. It probably wouldn't feel too good those first couple of shots.
Brad Miller down here on 35 and 6 shot 244.
That's huge. Huge. That's got to make him smile a little bit if he ever would show him an emotion. One question I'm having right now, and I'm sure Ricky might answer this for us in the chat, is since Chris went in for AJ, my experience in the past would tell me that he starts at the total that AJ has in the top 32 and builds on that with what he shoots today. But I'll have that answered when we get our first standing sheet, unless you want to tell us that. They're using his scores.
Tim Barron shot 225 in the first game.
Nice job for Tim as well.
And now they're moving pairs.
So according to Ricky, they're going to use Chris Hester's scores. And so what he had before puts him in the 32nd spot, obviously, since he was a casher and not a top 32 finalist. And so he's got a little more work to do than he had. But that's kind of what I would have expected from past experience. Tournament directors make the calls they need to make here, and they have to make them quickly. And what you have to do is you make a fair decision and stick with it. You don't second guess yourself afterwards, and you talk about it after the tournament's over and figure out if this happens again, which we know this is the first time somebody's missed the top 32 on this Sunday morning of the IB Open weekend. We're going to have a rule in the rules next year that covers this. So.
Working on the fly. I think that's a good job by the tournament crew for coming to a quick decision on that, because they really didn't have a lot of time to react to something like that.
If there is a way for bowling folks to challenge you as a tournament director, they will find a way to do it. I'm going to tell you a story. Once upon a time this year at our Open Championships in Missouri, we're bowling in a beautiful, absolutely beautiful bowling center. People would call it a palace if they walk in there. Shiny tile floors, 20 synthetic HPLs, an entire go-kart track inside the building, a mini golf course inside the building, bouncy houses, like a row of 6 pool tables. Then outside there's bumper boats. There's another go-kart track. There's batting cages.
What doesn't this place have?
It's crazy. And it's funny because they are building a second level right now over the go-kart track to put in bumper cars, and it'll be a full bumper car track up there.
Holy smokes.
And inside batting cages. And this is in Bonne Terre, Missouri, okay? So you walk into this place, and it's absolutely beautiful. And there's a big, big area between the first lane and the wall that you would go to the back on, but it looks like it's big enough to be able to drive like a golf cart through, if you understand what I'm saying. There's room enough for them to move things around inside this building using that space. Twice during the first weekend, we had a youngster get loose from a crowd that was using the bouncy houses. I mean, somebody small, and run down that area right next to lane 1 and crawl up onto the lane.
Oh, goodness.
In the middle of our pattern that we're using for our state tournament on the very first lane. And so Mom doesn't understand. She runs down next to lane 1, grabs a hold of the kid's legs, and the kid's got his hand out on the lane.
Oh,
so pulls the kid,
geez.
and he's dragging his arms
Just straight
across the
stripping
lane
pattern. That's
on
great.
the left side. Now, as luck would have it, I've got 2 guys on 1 and 2 that are all in on brackets for about $800 a piece.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
So tell me what a challenge that is on the very first weekend whenever something like that happens. And it's a family fun center. I mean, you're going to have, it's not just the 20 lanes on the bowling side. You're going to have
a little bit of
kids
everything
running
going
everywhere.
Yeah, what do
right?
you do at that point?
Yeah, what was the decision made? I mean, I'm curious.
We couldn't re-oil the lanes. I mean, so we couldn't do anything. That was just
play it as it lies.
Play it as it lies. I mean, it's an act of God, and it could have happened to anybody. And we were full on the squad. I couldn't move them.
Oh man!
At the time, and it's just that's what we were dealing with. So,
goodness gracious, man, that's something else.
It's laughable, but it's not. If you understand what I'm saying.
Correct.
Nice job, Matt, staying up on this production stuff over here. We are in game 2 of 4. I just was checking this out, and I was ready to do it for you, but you did it on your own. So, looking back at the chat right now, they're asking a little bit about where's Bo, and he'll be here a little later. They're going to work quite a bit of the top 12 of the match play this afternoon, him and Dave Lamont. Good chemistry between those two, not having worked together yesterday. It was fun to have both of those guys in the booth and just kind of have
they did good, didn't they?
2 professionals who just can pick up a piece of paper and start talking about it. That was cool. Cardi Bowl says, just joined today and seeing lots of surface. How bad will the shot be by the end of the round?
Are they re-oiling after 4?
They are re-oiling after 4, yes. So good question, Cardi. And honestly, it does not get bad. This is a 46-foot lane pattern. You'll find the pattern itself in the same place that I was talking about other information. You can see a graph of this pattern on InsideBowling.tv under the information tab there, what the lane pattern looks like. And 46 feet, 30.25 mils. Designed to make players play right early.
Hey guys, here's another technique of getting a deadwood. As you see on your screen, I know we broke down Mike's deadwood getting skills. That was just a quick toss, as opposed to the stretch that I like to call it.
That Mike did, yeah.
A little slow walk back. He doesn't want to fall, especially on camera or in front of all these people.
Right.
I'm impressed with that analysis, Matt.
I mean, we can go a little bit deeper. Let's take another look at it, guys. Here, you see him. He gave lane courtesy, but he takes the step up. He walks briskly, as you can tell.
Right.
Just to get in and out. He doesn't want to interrupt bowling too much. But there you have it. The step over the camera.
Nice technique
and
on the
toss.
step over.
Yeah, nice. Same step over back. You can tell he's done this before. And then the walk back. It got a little off balance there for a second, but overall a great job.
And that was Austin Bolds that threw right next to him, leaving the 4.67. And the young man probably looks the guy in the face and says, "This doesn't bother me. I can get up there." And then the ball goes through the face and leaves the 4.67.
Whoops.
I like Austin. He's cool. He went to Vincennes, bowled there for 2 years. I'm not sure if he bowled after that. I think he did bowl after that, but I'm not sure where. So maybe somebody in the chat can let me know. I'm thinking Purdue possibly, but I don't know that for sure.
So over on our featured pair for game number 2, like Dennis alluded to earlier, we have the leaders, as you will. We have Matt Gasson, George Gohagen III, Rob Gotchel, and J.R. Raymond.
And as Ricky was pointing out, some of our leaders, like Dave Waika, had a slow start. He was 234 over, but I believe they said 170.
I could go confirm.
And it won't take as long this morning to get standings in between. Actually, as I'm talking, here they come. Here you go, Brandon. You can hold on. Guys, after the first game, and again, these standings are going to be on Twitter. They're going to be on Facebook page, Facebook.com/InsideBowling. and on InsideBowling.tv on the event information tab below the picture. Maintaining first place with that 232 game that he shot game 1 here. George Gohagen up to 300 over. Rob Gottschall had a very nice game too. He shot 244 to get to 290 in second place, only 10 pins behind the leader. Quite a break then between him and J.R. Raymond in third place at 235. Dave Wadka, rough first game there, down to 213, rounds out the top 4. Aaron McCarthy's right there at 210 over in fifth place. Jake Gens hanging in there, 209. So look how tight everything is between 4 and 6. 213, 210, 209. Matt McNeil, 7th place right now at 202. Jason Wajner, Tim Barrett, Brandon Hott, all 3 tied at 198 over in 8th, 9th, and 10th. And then you go Brandon Novak, 196, Brad Miller, 195, Cameron Doyle, 194, and Kyle Wilkes, 194. That takes you down to 14th. 15th and 16th right now is a tie between Charles Easton and Matt Gasson at 190, and John Trzynski, 189 in 17th place. This is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and how about this guy? He's just coming on real quick. I was talking to Cameron Doyle's dad for a minute. Cameron bowled 230 the last game and went from 17th into the number.
That's a pretty good jump.
Jumped 5 spots, bowling 230.
He's actually 13th right now, Mike, but 1 pin out.
There you go.
So that's, but still, I mean, this is that grouping right there. If that continues for the next 3 games, this is going to be absolutely crazy.
That'll be an exciting finish, that's for sure.
Superior Pack fan says, dude, if that happened to my lane or pair, I would say you would re-oil my lane now. Damn lanes now, you know what I mean. Yes, I would imagine you would say that, and I would imagine some folks on that pair did say that. I would refer you to the last rule on the page that probably says the decisions of the tournament director are final.
Making tough decisions on the fly, man. There's some situations that I would not want to be a tournament director. That is for
exactly.
sure.
And you never want to do something like that, but you have to keep a tournament like that on schedule. I can't oil next to people that are out there bowling. We didn't have a spot to put them, otherwise I would have. I mean, I would have considered that if we had a spot to put them, that kind of stuff. So
we had a question in the chat about Danny Spink. Danny shot 178 the first game. He moved down to 27 and 28. He's got the front 4 this game.
Right. And Danny's right now in 29th place at 96 over with that 170 game. I saw him drop a ball in the channel going at a 10 pin in like game 8, and he was kind of shaking his hand a little bit. So, and I would imagine there's going to be a lot of hand shaking out there this morning based on all the bowling that folks did yesterday. Danny bowled a second time. He bowled Friday night, made the cut with the score he shot Friday night, and then bowled again last night just because he wasn't feeling good enough about that score. So. Wesley Edwards right now is in the last spot at 56 over. Chris Hester did move up 1 spot right now at 65 using his own pins. So that's where we are there. Again, you can find these on our Facebook page, InsideBowling.com, Twitter, InsideBowling.com, and also InsideBowling.tv under the information tab below the window for you guys who want to see these. We have a surprising number. Oh, there was a score correction, folks. I'm sorry, there was a score correction, and we have a score update coming in, so stand by. Maybe what Cameron's father saw was correct, and Cameron did move into the number, is what we're going to see here in a second. I don't know.
That is quite possible.
What I was getting ready to talk about, Brandon, is on the D bowler, and I'm not quite sure who that is on our featured pair of 31 and 2 right now. A number of single pins being missed here. When they mean as much as they mean, that's kind of surprising to me a little bit.
That's a little rough. This is not the time to be missing single pins, especially when you're in a little bit of a 4-game sprint here to try to get into the number. Every pin counts, and missing a couple single pins here and there, that's very, very detrimental.
And it's the one thing I will say is that it is not difficult to get the ball across lane. It's not like they're fighting hook or anything like that. All they have to do is just relax and throw it straight.
Sure.
And it's just a mental. It's a mental lapse, I guess, is what you want to call it there when that happens.
But it happens to the best of us, and coming back with a double after missing a single pin, that's usually the best way you can recover.
So Ricky says that the score correction affected J.R. Raymond, that he was off by 8. I don't know if that was up or down, but we'll see it in a second, and you'll see it too as soon as they post it on the places where you have the ability to get our scores. George Gohagen mixes them up. He's the A bowler. He's got a spare in the second and a turkey up, so he's on a 280 pace through half the game.
Wesley Edwards down here on 29 and 30 has started out with the first 4 strikes as well. He's now up. You might be able to see him on the left side of your screen wearing a blue shirt. Danny Spink had the first 4, left the 2, 4, 6, 7, and I believe spared it.
Well, good for him. If you're going to leave that, you should make it.
It's very true. Don't leave anything.
Wesley came in high.
J.R. Raymond there on the right lane had it on a 290 pace and goes through the nose a little bit. I don't know if it looked like his footing wasn't good on that one. He didn't. He almost fell right and the ball went left immediately. So.
Matt McNeil on the right side of your screen there, lane 33, mixing them up.
He didn't have a great game to start this morning.
Well, it's nothing that he can't dig himself out of, right. I am certain.
But he's fine right now. He's 7th in the standings at 202. And
I would say he's got cushion, Dennis, but I really don't think he does because
no.
12th is 195.
Right.
So
he doesn't have a cushion right now, but he's not very far out of the top 3 either. I mean, he's 30 pins, and we saw. We'll be able to tell when he's doing well because he'll start dancing like he did yesterday.
You know what? I was able to catch a video yesterday of Matt while he was bowling pretty good. He was on string of strikes, and he ended up missing one off his hand a little right. And it came in high, and he kind of ducked down, and then he did the old tuck and roll.
Oh, yes, he did on the approach.
I
saw that.
It was fantastic. I got it on video and everything. Facebook, Instagram. I made it up there quick. And what he told, I showed him a little bit later. I'm like, Matty, you got to take a look at this. I caught a great video of you. And we laughed about it for a good 5 minutes. And one thing he told me is like, if you're not going to be good, you can at least be entertaining.
That's right.
And thankfully for Matt, he's got both things going for him. He's entertaining, fun to watch, very energetic, and he's really, really good.
Right, absolutely. He bowls the next day at Nationals for the pattern that we bowl. We bowl at 5 o'clock on Friday night and doubles and singles at 9 on Saturday morning, and he does the Saturday night, Sunday morning pattern of that next weekend. But he'll be there midweek, and we talked already about dinner and a couple of cocktails out there. So
good stuff.
We're going to shoot on over to our bonus coverage pair, guys, for a little bit. I know over here on this pair, we have Tim Barron, Brett Shepard, Charles Easton, and Ryan Powers.
This is Ryan up on the right lane there. This is 38. This was not one of the higher scoring pairs for the tournament. Actually, it's one of the lower scoring pairs for the tournament. But only by 10 pins or so.
Ryan started out with a good game. Turkey 9 spare, 8 spare. Now you see the 4-9.
But he strung some strikes yesterday in a number of different games. Every once in a while, we'd be getting the wireless camera to go watch what he was doing in different parts of the bowling center. As a matter of fact, these two guys bowling right next to each other right now, Tim Barron and Ryan. We had a nice conversation with Bo yesterday during the C squad, and Bo's got a pretty good eye for talent, as it turns out, from what he sees out there and just watching someone's style for just a couple of shots, let's put it that way. And he picked both of these guys out yesterday as with just a little bit of direction from a good coach or from somebody who could to help them out to tell them what to expect. Both of these people could be actual national touring players if there was such a thing anymore. They're both of that caliber at this point. So
both throw it very well for sure. I mean, there's not a lot of slouches here in this group of 32, that much I can say.
No, there's not. That's for sure. I told them both to listen, though, because as much as they may both already know those facts. To have Bo say that about you on a live stream is kind of cool. So I wanted to be able to hear it. So
off camera there, just off camera, you can see the pin reaction there. Brandon Hott with 4 in a row. Looks like he's got strike spare 4-bagger.
He does.
I'm going to take us back now down to 31-2 and watch the leaders, since we have the opportunity to do that. Those guys, using Matt's sheet here, are going to be, let's see, they're on 31-2. They're going to skip 2, so they're going to be on 37-8, and we'll be able to catch them again next game with our tripod cam as well. Another single pin miss. Look at that.
I was just about to say that. Crazy.
Folks, look how far George is lined up left on that right lane there. He's got to, if he's not bumping up against the ball return, he's got to be close to it.
It's a pretty good shot right there.
Yes, it is.
Tournament leader for a reason. He has been doing quite a bit of striking.
He did it last year, too. The question will be, I mean, he seems to very much like the fresh, and with the less pattern on the left side during the week, that's an advantage for them if they like to stay in that part of the lane.
Sure.
How about Rob Gottschall inside already?
He's playing him pretty far left, man.
But see, I think he thinks he discovered something yesterday that works that other people can't do, and that's that slow wheel that he was doing yesterday. And we discussed that when Bo was here in the booth. He flipped from this side, which hooks more, we know, than the other side did.
Yeah, J.R. Raymond in the same spot.
Went over to the other side, and instead of moving back right and trying to face up to the pocket, doing that over there, all he did was soften up just a little bit more and stayed in a part of the lane that he was comfortable throwing in. Kept his angles the same and just threw it softer, which is a talent of itself to be able to do that with your tempo and with your hands and consistently, exactly. But I think he's just happy with that. Matt Gasson, do you see that shot?
They're all in the same part of the lane.
Yeah, it looks like they're all playing off of each other, and it seems to be working.
What a cross they caught, honestly. If the guy, I don't know, I'm sure they didn't talk about it, but they're all smart enough to see what each other's doing and just go there, right?
They all know better.
And Matt came back laughing just now, and I don't know that he was in there that entire time, but it looks like he tried something and it worked. So
there's Rob again. He's that slow roll. Right at his break point, it looked like. Maybe his target, and fortunate to get the 7 time.
I think he got on that one a little bit more.
Oh, you think so?
That's what I just think that it was a little faster. Brad Miller right now in front of us, lane 39-40, trying to do the same thing, and he can't. That was a horrible look that he just had just then.
I think the ball he's throwing is just a little bit too weak for where he's trying to play. I mean, I can't really tell what JR. I think JR is throwing a Paradox Pearl. Looks like Gottschall's throwing an original Paradox. I can't tell what Gasson's throwing, but they're all using bigger, stronger balls. And look, Brad Miller, I think, is just using a middle-of-the-road piece from Motive, and I just don't think it's going to give him the same shape from playing them where they are.
Yeah, I was watching Brad before I walked down here, and he was making good shots. He was playing just like track almost, and just a little belly, but he was just flat-tenning.
Right. That's a lot of surface on that ball that he's using, too.
Yeah.
It looked to me. So. Robert says in the chat, this is such a wide open tournament, I can't figure out who to pick yet. You think, and right now you're in the chat trying to figure that out. It's people are asking us what we think all the time, trying to sit here in this chair and do the same thing.
It's tough to pick a front runner because things can change so quickly in a format like this, and as well as on a pattern that's.
And right now, I mean, if you want to just pick it out, George is 100 pins about ahead of Matt McNeil in 7th place. So that's quite a separation on a pattern that's not easy.
Correct.
But when you get on the match play this afternoon with 30 bonus pins on every game,
30 pins goes
12
a long
of
way.
them. That's all you have to do is win 3 more games than he wins. If he catches some bad breaks or whatever, look at Matt turn around on the. shaking his head. And that was on the string. He's got 6 in a row.
That's the way to recover from a 9-out.
Right. Where's he at right now? Let's see here. He is in 16th place at 190, but remember, 5th place is Aaron McCarthy at 210, only 20 pins ahead of him.
They are bunched together, that's for sure. I'm thinking after this game we'll see a little bit more separation because there's a little extremes going on. There's a bunch of strings out there, and then there's a couple of not so high games.
This could be huge for him because just a couple more strikes puts him in the 230s, and that's good enough for third right now. So that's huge.
That's definitely a good score to have right now. That's for sure, shooting 260 max if he takes it all the way out.
One more puts him in the 240s, right?
Correct.
One more double. So even if he spares in the 9th, he could double in the 10th for 240.
Correct.
So, right? Okay.
I believe so, yes. It's still early. I'm working on my math.
Okay, got it.
Brush the cobwebs off for a second.
Nothing horrible in front of us there. One good game, one really good game. George has got a nice game. He's got a 220 out with the spare and 3 in the 10th here. And that's all George has to do right now. All he has to do is go 220, 230 like he's doing right now, and it'll take care of itself for the rest of the day. Nobody did it yesterday. I mean, except him. 260 over for 8 games was just over just over a 220 average for the 8 games. That's not outrageous.
Guys, there's some good scores happening down here on 35-6. McCarthy's pair with John Krasinski, and whoever else is on that pair. I'm blanking, but
sorry, Matt, I'll tell you. Aaron McCarthy, John Krasinski, Brandon Hott, and Brandon Novak.
okay, Brandon Hott has got, off of that 280 game he had max score, he 8 spared in the 8th, giving him 179 in the 7th. And Aaron McCarthy just put 10 back in the 9th. She's not faring too well. She has 137 in the 8th, on and open in the 8th with a strike up in the 9th.
Okay.
And we're going to, John Krasinski is up now.
Can you see Dave Wadka's score by any chance?
I'm not sure what letter he is.
DW.
I guarantee you he's either A through D.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's going to be one of those. That's true. He's got to be A or B. I'll know in just a second.
Thanks. Rob Gottschall now up on the right lane. Possible 204 out. What did he do the last game?
I didn't see it. I know he left the 4-7.
Okay.
So I believe he took the 4 straight back and chopped it off the 7.
Going straight across. That's crazy.
Yeah, don't quote me on that because all I saw was the 7 still standing. I actually watched David O'Sullivan the first frame of the tournament, or the first frame this morning. Took the 4 clean back off of the 7, shooting right to left. That just baffles me when that happens.
Did you see McNeil's?
Yeah, that's what I'm laughing at.
You're laughing at McNeil's reaction.
About
just
a lane
now.
and a half,
Yep.
and then the slap.
And then the slap, and the slap looked like it was a little. I mean,
Ooh, Matt Gasson with the little tickler there.
Yeah, he's got a great game. Dave Watka is A, and he has 121 in the 7th with an 8 spare in the 8th.
201 max score.
wow. With as much as these things are bunched up right now, 213 is where he's at right now, and 190. That's 23 pins. Actually, 189 is in 17th place. So there's 13 spots.
Things are going to shake up quite a bit here, guys.
This game, I think, is going to tell us a lot. So
absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, Dave can shoot 201 here. and currently in 4th place at plus 213, and he's probably going to get passed by several of these people. He could drop down to the number.
He just left a late pocket 7-10 in the 9th.
Oh, goodness.
That was Wadka?
Yes, sir.
You see George, I think he tugged that one just a little bit and it's set, and it smashed the pocket instead of tickled like the last one on 31.
Aaron McCarthy with a double to start the 10th frame. Sorry, double in the 9th.
194 for Gotchel.
Yep, 194. Dave took the 10 off of the 7-10.
That made it a long way back.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That looked, I mean, I haven't seen George throw too many shots, but that one definitely looked a little bit left off his hand, assuming the last shot was a little bit right.
His release has got to be so soft right now to get that ball to roll like that, to come up from out there. If he hangs the thumb at all, that ball's gone down the lane. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Matt Gatt, a great shot there.
Right, and he made the most of his of the luck he got on the last shot on 31. That's awesome for him. That puts him in the 250s. So Gaston right now in 16th place at plus 190 is going to be possibly 250 over, and that would put him ahead of J.R. Raymond currently at 235.
That's a large jump. 228 for GG3 there. Put him at plus 328 total.
Cameron Doyle just left a 7-10 in front of us and went for it. You can never see any emotion in that young man's face either. I mean, he turns around and he's just looking like, okay, next frame.
And Matt Gaston with the double on the 10th, so he is going to be in the 260s, and he is going to jump up the standings substantially.
There's JR.
Ring 10.
And that's going to put him max 2-0. And so he's going to, Gaston's going to pass him. Gotchel shot 194, we said?
Yes.
So he's going to only be, let's see, 80. So he's only going to be like 30 pins ahead of Gaston now, and he was second place, and Matt Gaston was 16th before this game.
267 from Matt
Very,
Gaston.
very nice. Awesome game for Matt Gaston. Sean St. Clair, thanks guys for reminding me to look over here. I know that last night if there was a tie for 32nd, all bowlers tied advanced. What happened today for ties for 12th full game?
That is a good question. It is a one-game roll-off.
We just happen to have tournament director, actually CEO of Inside Bowling, and Mr. Decision Maker, Mike Flanagan, standing next to us and heard the question, guys. So after the 4 games, we would have a one-game roll-off between the ties, however many there are.
Guys, Brandon Hott had 256 that game.
It's another good game. He was in 10th place at plus 198.
And so he's going to go ahead of Gasson.
You said he had what, Matt? 258?
256.
256, excuse
Correct.
me.
Right, so that gives him 64.
That is correct. He'll be 3 pins behind Matt.
3 pins behind Matt?
Yes.
I thought Matt had 260.
267.
So he'd be 2 plus 250.
257.
Right. Oh, gotcha. I'm thinking 260. You're right. You're right.
Don't say that too loud.
You're right.
Don't let everybody know.
John Trzynski just slapped out the second hit in the 10th. Tripping 4-pin on lane 35. He's got a decent game going. He's got, if I can see, 205 in the 9th with a double in the 10th. 235 off, he strikes.
What scores do we have down there for Dave and Aaron there, Matt?
Dave Wadka had 167.
Wow.
Aaron McCarthy had 193. Sorry, that's incorrect. I have to get down there to see. I can see.
Whiteboard.
No, I was right. 193.
193.
It's erased. Market 0, dude.
Okay.
193 for Aaron?
Yes. Guys, Brad Miller's here in front of us. Kevin Williams as well. Kevin was up in the standings yesterday. He's up on the left lane on 39 and 40. You can't see that right now. And we're starting game 3 in a couple of places, so I'm going to get to that in just a second. But Kevin's up here and ready to throw on the left lane. He's got 146 in the 8th with a strike up in the 9th. Like the delivery off his hand. You can always tell when Kevin likes that delivery because both arms stay out in front of him for a long time. That's a double, and he's got a possible 2-0 with another strike. Brad Miller's up in the right lane, 155 in the 9th with a in the 8th with a strike up in the 9th. And Brad leaves a solid 9.
We're just getting a camera on him now.
Okay, cool. Brad leaves a solid 9, and that's going to put him in the 190s.
And that was after a ring 10 in the 8th as well.
Now over to Kevin Williams.
I liked that reaction out of Brad just now better than the one I saw a moment ago. But Brad was sitting in 12th at 195. He was the number at the time. Cameron Doyle was just behind him as we were talking about earlier, and Cameron struck out in the 10th for 202. So Cameron's going to pass up Brad right now and go into the top 12, barring anybody below him pushing him back out.
Hey, guys, I just want to come on the broadcast for a second. I've been down doing some set preparation for tonight, but I just walked by some of the folks. I'm hearing some real emotion coming from the players. Every pin is mattering. I'm seeing some bowlers 7-10 here and there not be able to put together a double, and it's getting pretty heated down there. I'm sure you guys have been talking about it, but boy, am I really seeing it and feeling it myself just walking around this building.
And I mean, they are so clustered together, too, before this game, Mike. I mean, we had less than 40 pins between 3rd place and 16th place. So we're seeing things shake up now with a couple of low games and a couple of really, really big games from some of the guys that were lower in the standings.
Those guys who are lower down there and doing what they're doing right now, they've got to feel real good. And I know that there's a few people out there that are kind of squeezing a little bit right now.
Absolutely.
I would expect that thought they had things in hand. So Brad finishes out with 194. So he goes to 189 over.
That is correct.
It's difficult for us to see everybody right now, so we're giving you the ones that we have in front of us and the ones that we can get from Matt. It's not going to take very long, though, for us to have a score update, guys, so stick with us here. We'll be able to give you the official words very quickly.
Yeah, tentatively, obviously, George Gohagen's still in the lead. I've got him penciled in at plus 328. And on my sheet that I'm doing some quick math on, looks like Rob Gotcho remains in second at plus 284. It would be, I believe, Matt Gasson in 3rd place at plus 257. Brandon Hunt in 4th at plus 254. Rounding out the tentative top 5 would be J.R. Raymond at plus 241.
You were correct on George on his plus minus.
Okay.
Hey, 1 for 5? Not bad,
That's
man.
pretty
Very
good.
nice.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It depends what math you're using, but, you know.
That's Kyle Anderson there throwing on lane 31.
Yeah, down here we've got Jimmy Cook, Adam Pogge. Did I get it right again?
Yep.
Ken Abner, and then, of course, Kyle Anderson.
Guys, Kyle Anderson threw 244 in his last game last night. He was 100 over at that point. and would not have made it at 100 through 244 and put himself up in the middle of the standings last night. It's a nice job for him in
great
the
finish.
very last game.
Great finish.
And it's funny, as tired as everybody is at the end of the game, he's walking around afterwards with all the energy in the world because
absolutely.
of what
adrenaline's
just
going.
happened. It's crazy how good it was.
That's awesome.
And he has a 3-9 spare that he barely covers. That Dave Wadka was talking about that yesterday. Double wood spare on this pattern is not.
I don't like shooting that on house, Dennis. I don't want to shoot it on this.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
it was crazy. Jake Gens, I can see now on lane 39, also playing in a little slower than I've seen him throw the ball before, but seems to like that shape. The thing I heard some of the guys say last night is, and it kind of mirrors what Bo said yesterday about getting left and not going through the nose, basically waiting until your ball, can still tickle the head pin and just not go through the nose, and then stay there and watch the lanes come to you. A couple of them said that same thing last night. I can grind out 2-teen, and the lanes are going to come to me at some point. I'm not sure that there's time for that to happen this morning in 4 games like this.
Little update for Ricky Matsko here. We've got lanes 29 and 30 are really not very high scoring. We've got games of 179, 169, 205, and 178. Not 100% sure on the players that were on that pair, but either way, those are not high scores.
J.R. Raymond in front of us on 37 and 8, leaving a fairly flat 10 on the lane 38. He had started out with a strike in the first frame. Watching Jimmy on the right lane down there on your screen, Jimmy Cook.
Making a good old spare, the 3-6-7-10.
Yep. So for me, if you're going to shoot a split, that's the one I want to shoot at.
Absolutely.
Now we're missing the 10 pin on that one. That's a very, very makeable spare for a player who understands how to shoot that spare. Dave Wadka going light and mixing it up on 39 and 40 here. And he starts out with a double, which he needs to do right now. And J.R. Raymond misses another single pin. Missed that 10 pin.
Yikes.
I'm not picking on him, guys, when I'm saying that. I'm surprised. If I'm anything, I'm surprised. Something's wrong when players of that caliber miss that many single pins. Something's happening with their hand. They're not clearing the ball. That's what's, or they're having a problem with an approach is all I'm pointing out. But it's costly nonetheless, whether for whatever reason they missed it, they did miss it. So. Rob Gottschall on lane 38 through the nose.
Oh, that's
ends
not a good
up with a
break.
710. It didn't start out that way, but ends up with a 710 after a double. Wow. And folks, you didn't see the reason for my wow, but Jake N sent a ball that never. I don't think the lane was 70 feet long. It would have hooked, and it tickled the head pin going by, and about 18 pins spun around and all fell down for a double.
Guys, where's Cameron Doyle sitting?
Cameron Doyle, as of right now, with a 202 last game, I have him penciled in at plus 196 tentatively.
We don't have a standings for second game yet, but that's going to be high. That's going to be high enough in that middle of the pack. I think he's probably he would have gone ahead of Brad Miller. So I'm thinking he's in the number at that
or
point.
close to it. Yes.
Well, he started out, it looks like, with an open and then another split. 2 splits in a row to start game 3.
Matt, pay attention. If that 27 and 8 is as difficult as it is right now. We got Tim Barrett down there too, and Ryan Powers, who had a pretty decent start down here. And I'd like to see how those guys attack that pair.
Tim Barron is trying to make a run. I'm not sure if he had the second game, but he ended the game with some emotion.
Yeah, I didn't get his score, man, on
Let's see if I can get down real quick.
Chase Rhodes in the chat wants to know who has the best look right now, and I would have to say it's George. I don't know what you think, but
I think George's look is pretty solid, but right now I'd have to give the look to Matt Gasson on the right. His look last game, he had some shots that I believe, just watching his body language, he thought were mediocre at best, and the reaction on them gave the fortuitous carry where it needed to be so that he could get to that 260 game. He had a couple of good mixers, a couple shots that were a little inside of target that kind of froze, high flushed. I think he's in good shape, and right now he started off spare strike and an absolute blower 7-pin here on lanes 37-38.
Tim Barron looks like he had 173, I believe. 173 game 2.
173.
And
wow.
I think he shot 226 or something game 1.
Right.
So it kind of negated both games there.
Yeah, it's just about evened out at that point.
Wow.
I'd have him at, he was at plus 198 after 1 with a 173. We'd bring him down to 171 over.
So who's we don't have standings after 2 yet.
Not
still?
yet.
Not just yet.
No.
Okay, I'll hold off on that question.
Well, I think part of the reason was Ricky was distracted. The question in the booth was who had the best look, and Ricky said he had the best look because you were right by him at that point. So I think you were distracting
is that what he said?
him.
Now that.
I think you were distracting him, and that's why we don't have standings.
Ring the bell. I wish we had a bell to ring for that hot take.
That's a good pickup line there, Ricky.
Yep.
Sorry, Ricky, we forgive you on your grammar. It is before 10 a.m.
Yes. And before 8 in California.
And Vegas, back home.
Yeah. I was working out there in February for 3 days. Man, the Mandalay Bay is huge. I cannot believe how far you can walk inside that building and never leave that building.
That is correct.
Crazy, crazy big.
That is a large facility, that is for sure.
And I think isn't that where Bowl Expo is this year?
That is correct, yes, Mandalay Bay Convention Center. We'll be set up there. So if anybody's coming down to Bowl Expo, come check us out. I wish I had the booth number in front of me, but I do not at the moment.
I've never been to Bowl Expo. I'd like to go sometime.
Got to do it, man.
Thank you, Matt. We got some standings coming in here. As we talked about, George Gohagen in first place, 328. Rob Gottschall, second place, 284. Right now he is 27 pins ahead of Matt Gasson in third place at 257. A huge move from 16th place last game.
Big jump.
Brandon Hott, wow, from 10th to 4th with 246 right now. J.R. Raymond drops from second to 5th at 233. Brandon Novak, also a big move from 11th place all the way up to 6th place at 230. Charles Easton at 223 in 7th place.
Charles jumped up from 15th.
Right. John Trzynski, also a big jump from 17th all the way up to 222 and in 8th place. Jason Wojnar, 219. Where did he come from?
He was in 8th place.
He was in 8th, so he dropped just a spot, but still hung on. He's plus 219. Jake Gens, 209 over in 10th place. He was in 6th and basically stayed right where he was score-wise and dropped 4 places, basically. And that's Cameron Doyle and Aaron McCarthy tied right now at the number 196 over with Matt McNeil 1 pin out of the number at 195 in 13th place.
I'm going to try and get a camera on that pair. They're on the end pair 41 and 2.
All right, that's cool.
There was some serious shaking up that game, Dennis. Holy smokes.
There certainly was. And remember the tough breaks that Brad Miller had at the end of his game down here in front of us that you guys couldn't see on camera. Brad drops down to 14th right now at 189. He is 6 pins 7 pins out of the number, if you want to say. I guess 7 pins out of the number at that point.
Yes.
And 2 shots out of the last 3 could have easily been strikes instead of.
He could have ended that game with 230 instead he ends with 190.
Right. And 230 puts him 8 spots up.
Goodness gracious.
So 2 shots at that point. Chase Rhodes in the chat wants to know, is it true that the Showboat Lanes is closed?
Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to go with maybe on that.
I watched the implosion of that building. I mean, I think it's still on YouTube. You could probably watch it yourself if you want to watch it.
More than likely, yes.
I never realized the place, I mean, the hotel itself was as bad as everybody talked about it being at the time whenever they did implode the hotel. I've fond memories there. In 1986, I won the Bowler's Journal in that building.
Nice.
And that was, it was funny. A real good friend, Pat Holseth, who used to run that tournament and turned it over now to the USBC afterwards, who run that tournament now. And I don't think he turned it over directly to them. I think he was out of it by that time and somebody else was running it. But Pat was out there, and we bowled one of the very first weekends. And you know how it is when the USBC Open is just starting. People are still unpacking things in booths, and even though that people are running around the building and stuff is happening, that it doesn't look like you're set up and ready to run the tournament just because the tournament is starting. You know what I mean? People get in right at the last minute.
Exactly.
Well, Pat was doing the same thing. He's running the Bowler's Journal, and we're paying him our entry fees, and he's sticking the money in his pocket. And it was funny for us. We're saying this guy's running a national tournament out of his pocket. And it was just fun to watch it. So we go in there, and we're bowling on the high end in that 32 bay that they had.
Yep.
And so you have lanes with hundreds on the lanes as far as numbers are concerned. And ended up with I start 220-something, 230-something, 220-something, and I even missed a couple of spares in those first 3 games. And then shot 258, 300 the last 2 games to shoot 1251, and the score held up for the entire tournament.
Solid.
I was I made myself not call because back then there was no internet. You couldn't see standings online for anything.
Guys, here's a look at Aaron McCarthy. Aaron's not faring too well this game. 9 spare, 5 count, 4 open, 9 spare, and then now this 10 pin in the 5th frame, which she runs down.
Good job on that camera, Matt. That's a good look.
Okay, she's got 62. 60, I can't see it.
62 in the 4th on a spare.
I just can't see the numbers.
Didn't we invest in a glasses fund for you last time I was in this booth?
Account,
Man.
It's about $30.
Aaron, and like we said, Aaron is the number at 196.
Right,
over
so I'm going to go check on Cameron Doyle real quick.
And Matt McNeil.
McNeil.
It's right in front of us.
Right in front of us.
We'll watch him. You can. He's having a rough start here too. 56 in the 4th frame with a. Is that a single pin?
That
miss?
looks like a single pin miss, Dennis. Sure does. Meanwhile, on 41-42, Brandon Hott's off to a pretty good start. Looks like he has spare double, spare strike. 89 in the 4th on a strike now.
There's there are cameras on McNeil and Aaron McCarthy
I'll
right now.
I'll scoot down there. How about that? Because that makes more sense for me to do that, since we don't have a booth cam and I can switch back and forth. I'm sorry.
So it's kind of out of order here, Dennis. But this is the bonus pair. This is left lane and bonus pair.
Okay.
Left lane, bonus pair. This is the wireless.
Got it.
So we're going to have Aaron McCarthy up. We'll switch there. I'm going to go check on Cameron Doyle. I'll be right back.
Okay. I didn't mean to abandon you over there, but
That's okay. I'll just sit over here in no man's land. But I do like Ricky's comment in the chat here. Kickstart the IB binoculars so that Turek can see.
Well, I talked about it yesterday, and
that's hilarious.
It really would make sense for us in the booth to have a pair of binoculars to be able to see scores better on the ends. You can usually tell which position a player is on the score sheets. All you have to do is be able to see them a little bit better. So Aaron throwing a shot now on 42 and leaving a flat 10. A little exasperated, it looked like to me just then.
And I think she's flat 10 to whole bunch these last 2 games.
Hey, guys, Cameron Doyle has 53 in the 4th with a 8 spare. I believe it was the 6-10 in the 10th. Sorry, the 5th frame. He came back off the approach, showed a little emotion against the chair. Looks like he's walked to the bag to get a ball change.
They are getting a little squirrely here, I'd imagine, guys.
That was Jake Gens with the front 5 here, so he's got a chance of making a big move here. He was in 6th place, right? He's got a split up right now. It's at 2-7-8, which is going to be difficult for him to do that.
We have a couple of cool stats here provided by Mr. Ricky. After the 2 games, 8 total games bowled on lanes 29 and 30, the cumulative average is 182 even. And then on lanes 41 and 2, the next lowest scoring pair is 184.25. 41 and 2, one of our bonus coverage pairs that Matt has set up for us. Other than that, there's only one other pair that's under 200.
Do we know who has 290 on 31? This thing is not working.
Hold on a second. I will go back down to that pair. I'm watching Jake shoot his split here. He had the front 5.
Oh,
what a good break on the spare.
Yeah, I know. That was horrible. So let's go down there and check.
Right now, Jimmy Cook is up. But B, it's either Adam Pogge or Kyle Anderson.
I think it's Kyle Anderson. I remember him being on the bottom left. So let's see if that's true, but I believe that's Kyle Anderson.
Cameron Doyle just left another 10. He has not struck this game.
And Kyle Anderson at the moment down in 21st place at plus 160. So he's only 36 out of the number.
So this will be a huge game. It is Kyle Anderson. He has a 290 max score through 6 frames.
I'm going to come back down and see him in just a second, but I'm watching Matt McNeil throw a shot right now in front of us on 39 and 40.
Oh. He got away with that one, it looked like.
Yes, he did.
Tripping the 8 late.
It's going to be Kyle's turn here in just a second, so we're going back down to 31 and 2 now, and we'll check out his shot now on the left lane. 290 possible there. I don't know about you guys. This is fun. The numbers being as close as they are and having shots matter as much as they do, every single one of them out there. This is fun.
Absolutely it is.
Kyle's playing like right up 3 and mixes them good.
Shaker.
Yep.
So I did not black cloud him.
No, you did not, Matt.
That's a bonus.
Proud of you.
Let's come back down here now and check out.
Check out 41 and 2.
Yeah,
little
we'll
bonus
check out
coverage.
41 and 2.
Just as a cool little stat for the bowlers that are bowling on 41 42 right now. All bowlers wearing a logo Infusion jersey, trying to take advantage of that $500 bonus we have going on for winning the tournament wearing a jersey.
So the possibility of $10,500.
That is correct. And for anybody out there in the chat that hasn't taken advantage of the coupon code we have running, we have a 20% off coupon code through logoinfusion.com. You type in logo20 now through the end of the month. You can save 20% off your entire purchase off items on our website.
Nice job, Ricky Matsko with the band hammer in the chat. I love that. There's John Trzynski on lane 41, also a flat 10 at that point. Let's go back down here and see what's going on. We're going to see a shot here coming up real close here by Kyle Anderson again on the right lane. Looks like there's a single pin to be cleaned up, but he's going to be up on the right lane now on 31 and 2, trying to make that big move from way down below.
Hey guys, Brad Miller. Brad Miller right now after 2 is in 14th place, just a few pins out from the cut. He's got 8 spare, 9 spare, 4 in a row.
Well, he's smiling, so that means
Yes.
something's going on good.
He's finally getting that 10 out.
Right.
And right now I'm watching Tim Barrett down here on 27 and 8. He's just outside the number as well. He's on an open in the 7th. Up right now and throws a great shot. 10 back. He's got 156 as it switches sides in the 7th with a strike up in the 8th for Tim.
We've got more number shaking around here, too. Matt McNeil had 76 in the 5th frame and just threw a strike in the 8th for 3 in a row. Max score of 226, and he is, I believe, 1 pin out of the number at the moment.
I'm bringing up Jake Gens right now. You can see this shot he's throwing in it, wanting it to come back. Jake had that that split that he made in the 6th frame, with the 2-7-8, then a single pin next, and now he's back on strikes again. Aaron McCarthy just struck. Let's go back down and see. I think it's about, it's time for Kyle.
Kyle is up on the approach right
Here
now.
He is.
Going for 7 in a row here. And a little
7 pin.
So still a 260 possible, and wouldn't be horrible.
Not at all.
Guys, there's a 268 max score down here on the leaders pair. It's not Matt Gasson, it's J.R. Raymond.
After missing that 10 pin, he is righting the ship.
Rob Gotcha with a nasty big 4 split in the 10th frame. Rob goes double split, double split, turkey split.
Oh, goodness. And that is a 194, is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
So there's Kyle Anderson making his spare, so he's still got a possible 260 something this game.
And I believe they're on the leaders pair. George Gohagen washed out in the 10th and took the head pin around the 7.
Oh,
is that a 174 for Gohagen?
I didn't see that. Hold on a second. Let's find out.
Believe that is 174.
Is he on the left or the right?
He is on the right.
At 179.
179?
Yeah.
That was close.
Brad Miller just to the left of our feature pair of 31 and 2. Just smashed a 7, so his smile is probably gone right now.
Guys, Tim Barron might have found something. He's now doubled in the 8th and 9th, trying to pull himself up by his bootstraps this game.
Matt, there's no boots. There's Hammer's shoes now, but not boots. Let's watch what Dave Wadka try to clean up this single pin. He's got 145 in the 7th. This will give him 165 in the 8th with this spare. And he does that.
Looks like we have Matt Gassing doubling in the 10th there.
I'm going to bring Erin up here now. She's going to be up on a double. She's got 101 in the 6th, a double in the 7th and 8th, getting ready to throw this shot in the 9th frame. Where was Erin?
Erin is currently in the number at plus 196, tied with Cameron Doyle.
So 221 possible this game. I think this is a must strike right now.
Yeah, now would be a good time to put 10 back here. It's going to hook a little bit.
Right, and he comes up light, leaving a 2-pin, and she's not happy with that one. This is Jake Gens up on the left lane here in 39 and 40. Jake has got 176 in the 7th frame, and that's a double now in the 8th and 9th. So he's got 260 out as well. That's a big game for Jake.
J.R. Raymond ended up finishing up with 247, it looks like, and Matt Gasson with 195.
Okay. Jake Gens with this possible 260. Where was he? He was
Jake
like
Gens is 10th place at plus 209.
So 270 over would put him where?
He would get to, let's see, he's got to 266. That would put him at 275 over, and right now that looks like it'd be good enough for 4th, I think.
Wow, okay.
Depending on what Brandon Hott finishes up with here.
Aaron Mader's spare. This is Matt McNeil right here. At least his ball rolling down the lane.
And trying to scout the 7 and just not quite getting there.
And he wasn't very happy with that. We'll watch Dave Wadka here on this pair before we switch to the next. Kyle Anderson's actually up on the left lane down on 31 and 2, so let's watch Dave throw his shot. I'll call Kyle's for you. He's up and the ball's zipping down the lane, and actually Dave doubled. He deked me there, and Kyle struck. So Kyle's got 209 in the 8th frame, a possible 269 still on that pair.
And again, Kyle down in 21st place at the moment at plus 160, so that would really help him out, getting close to the number, if not in the number, going into game 4.
Cameron Doyle finally found something too. He's got a double up in the 7th and 8th. He was struggling very hard that first half of the game, possibly enough to drop him out of the number.
Here's Dave Watkin now making a shot here, and he does carry that one. So Dave doubles in the 10th, and he's going to be 2-team. It's going to be a 2-team some kind.
Tim Barrett can strike out for 246, and that could very well be enough to jump him up towards or not in the number or be the number.
I agree with that, Matt. Tim currently in 17th place at plus 171.
So some movement at Jake and Tim's up in the 10th frame.
McNeil leaves the 7-pin in the 10th frame and flags it.
Oh, no.
For 193.
Oh, dear.
193. It fell off into the gutter right before.
Brad Miller went spare open in the 7th and 8th, gets an X in the 9th. Brad Miller right there as well, just 7 pins out.
Dave Watka 215. He did strike on the last ball in the 10th, so we can add that into his score.
215.
215.
Let's shoot over to 41 and 2 and check out this 10th frame for some of these guys here. We got Brandon Novak, John Trzynski, Brandon Hott, and Aaron McCarthy all within the number at the moment.
Aaron's got 150 in the 8th with a spare up in the 9th. So she can strike out for 200 even and keep herself right where she's at. Brandon Novak now up on the left lane, 143 in the 8th, a strike up in the 9th, so he's got 203 off the sheet.
Tim Barrett left a 2-pin. First ball of the 10th. Kevin Williams just solid pocket 7-10.
That's not nice.
No.
He's outside of the number. His score is average at best.
Jake Genn strikes again. That puts him on a 250 at least. The next strike gives him 260, possible 266 in the game. Aaron McCarthy needs this strike here and a fill for 200, and this one leaves the 4-9 split, so she's going to be 189, 190 or so and lose 10 or 11 pins. Let's come over and catch Kyle Anderson. Go ahead, Matt.
Cameron Doyle on the pair to the left has got 92 in the 6th. And a 4-bagger starting the 10th.
Kyle Anderson
trying to
strikes
save face
again.
And stay in the number.
Gotcha. Kyle Anderson strikes again, and that puts him 250 also. The next strike gives him 260, possible 269. Jake Gent's opened a window there. Somebody did. And he threw it right out the window.
And we did have Brandon Novak double in the 10th frame there as we pan to the other pair. Looks like he's going to shoot 203 with 10 on the fill here.
You can watch him throw that shot.
Yeah, Brandon currently in 6th place at plus 230, so that'll keep him within the number, but I'm thinking he's probably going to need a reasonable game to keep himself within it.
At 201 that game.
201 for who there, Matt?
Tim Barrett.
Got it.
Tim Barrett.
Cameron Doyle with a split. This ball of the 10th down here. Cameron's got 180 in the 9th with a X. 8-1 in the 10th for 199.
Give Jake Gentz 253. John Trzynski for a strike. He can go out for 210 this game.
John currently in 8th place at plus 222, so another player looking to keep himself within the number going into Game 4, but I'm thinking still probably going to need another 2-220 to really secure his spot within the top 12.
And on the pair that we're watching right now, you can't hardly see him because John's blocking him, but Brandon Hott is up on the left lane. Brandon's got this strike here for 220s, and he was up in there as well, was he not?
Yes, he was. Let's see what he does here.
And he flat tens.
Little
so
flat dime there, and Brandon was.
It's going to, with a spare here, it's still going to be 2 teens, and so that's not going to be horrible.
Correct. Brandon was actually in 4th place at plus 246. So with the spare here on the fill, put him in 2 teens. He'll be right up there around the plus 2, high 250s, low 260s. He will be sitting all right going into Game 4.
Right. Trzynski leaves a 4-pin, so maximum 200 for him. And it looks like Kyle Anderson spared on this, or left a 9 count in the second ball. He's got 257 on that game.
257 final score?
257 final score for Kyle Anderson. This is Trzynski finishing out and making this 4-pin, so this is going to give him 200 even with a spare, and he does have that. So 200 for John Trzynski. Brandon Hott now with a fill would give himself 216 this game. We're watching this ball go down the lane and come up a little bit light, leave a 2-pin, so these 215, 215 finish for Brandon Hott. This is at the end of Game 3. We are going to be entering, they're going to skip 1 pair now, folks, and we are going to go into the very final Game 4 of 4 of this Cashier's round this morning.
Matt, do we have a final number on Cameron Doyle?
I think he
Cameron 199.
I thought he said 199.
199.
Yeah.
Cameron Doyle 199. Tim Barron 201. I'm watching Brad Miller. He has a pretty good game. And got if I can find a spot here, 174 in the 8th with a double in the 9th and first ball of the 10th.
Good for him.
So yeah, 204, 234.
And while he's wrapping
If he
that
doubles up again.
while he's wrapping that up, I'm going to be showing you the first balls of a Game 4 starting here on bonus coverage pair of 41 and 2, and that was Rob Gottschall up there leaving, looks like the bucket on his first shot.
That is correct.
Matt had a Brandon, or not Brandon. Oh, he's not done yet. Brad Miller. How do he's
I think he's making a test ball change. He
Yeah.
doubled in the 10th. He needs a strike for 204. Comes in high, 202 for Brad Miller.
202.
Thank you. Guys, you can see our tournament leader, George Gohagen, getting ready to throw his first shot on the last game here. This is Game 4 of 4 in the Cashier's round of the Logo Infusion InsideBowling.com Open, brought to you by Ebonite Track Columbia and Hammer. A very nice family of brand of bowling balls. George, a little high, leaving a 6-8 for himself on 42 to start out with. How's George's lead, Brandon?
Currently, right now, if you guys want a quick rundown of my semi-decent math, I would have the standings as of 3 unofficial. I would have George Gohagen at plus 307 in first place. In second place, we would have J.R. Raymond at plus 280. Third place at plus 278, Rob Gottschall. Fourth place, jumping up from 10th place after 2 games, Jacob Gentz. In fifth place at plus 261, Brandon Hott. And then just out of the top 5, I would have Matt Gasson at plus 252.
What'd you put
Do
in?
you guys? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What'd you put in for Brad Miller?
Brad Miller, I had him at 202. He is plus 191 after 3.
And Ricky is telling us it's 232.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Okay.
That would make sense based on what you had told us he had going into the 10th.
I just added wrong and I was walking away.
Okay.
You're setting me up here, Matt. I don't know about it.
Just mark it on the whiteboard.
Marking on the
We'll
whiteboard.
just jog it up.
J.R. Raymond in front of you folks right now on lane 42, throwing his first shot in game number 4, and it goes through the nose, leaving a 3-6. Looks like some of these guys are a little surprised about the reaction they're getting on these lanes right now, and then when they move in, Brandon, then they flat 10. We've been watching flat 10s on this pair all day, right?
Exactly.
So they're trying to move around the pattern and haven't gotten something to make the turn on the back end.
And again, lanes 41 and 42 here. This is the second lowest scoring pair, at least after the first 2 games, out of the pairs in play.
So we're watching George Gohagen now just leave a 7-pin solid, and this is J.R. Raymond covering the 3-6, giving him a spare in the first frame. George opened with that 6-8 and only getting one of them in his first frame, and now leaving a solid 7 on his second shot.
Hey, Matt, did we have eyes on Charles Easton or Jason Wajner?
I believe Ricky typed into the chat about Jason Wajner. I'm going to check out Easton right now.
235. Yeah, 235 for Jason Wajner. Nice job, Ricky.
You are the man, Ricky.
Not only is Ricky feeding us scores, but he's got the band hammer out in the chat this morning, and there's a second one now that's gone. You probably can't. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see that it was done, right?
Autocorrect.
Wajner had 235.
Yes,
yep, we got that. Thank you, sir.
And who was the other one? I'm
Charles
sorry.
Easton.
Easton.
I wonder if he's related to Sheena Easton.
Charles Easton had 234. 234.
234. We have a little bit of bunching going on in the last game, guys, at least according to my scores.
That's uncomfortable sometimes whenever that happens. Why don't you take this? I've got some producing to do over here.
All right, so now we have just been provided with official scores, courtesy of Mr. Ricky. After 3 games, George Gohagen plus 307, your tournament leader. Second place, plus 280, J.R. Raymond. And in third, 2 pins back, Rob Gotcho plus 278. Fourth place is Jacob Gens, jumping up from 10th at plus 262. 1 pin back, and in the top 5, Brandon Hott at plus 261. And we get outside the top 5 here. Charles Easton, 4 pins out of the number at plus 257. Excuse me, not out of the number, out of the top 5. 7th place, Jason Wajner, plus 254. 8th place, Matt Gasson, plus 250. 9th place, Brandon Novak, plus 232. 10th place, John Trzynski, plus 222. 1 pin back, Brad Miller, plus 221. Kyle Anderson moving up to plus 218 in 12th place.
Wow.
Cameron Doyle, plus 195 in 13th, tied with Dave Wadka at 195. Kyle Wilkes at plus 190, and your current, let's see, 16th here, Matt McNeil, plus 188. We have some serious bunch, and I'm reading down a little bit further in the standings just to give you guys an idea of some of the guys that are still in the hunt that I think can get there. We've got Aaron McCarthy in 17th at plus 185. Tim Barrett still within striking distance at plus 173 and 18th.
So how far behind 12th is 13th right now?
Right now it is...
I thought I heard
23 pins.
I thought I heard a little separation there.
23 pins at the moment. So some of these guys that are just outside the number need a good game this last game to give themselves a chance.
And based on the scoring pace that I've seen this morning, not only did they need a good game to give themselves a chance, they got to make up those pins, but they needed somebody to stumble.
That is correct.
They need a few people above them to stumble, yeah.
Guys, do we have eyes on 27 and 8 at all?
I can see if
Oh, that's all the way down. No, I meant camera-wise.
Okay.
Dave Wadka, Kyle Wilkes, and Matt McNeil are all on that pair just outside of the bubble.
And Jake Gens. And he's in 4th. That's not a pair that you want to be on right now, I don't think.
No.
Needing a game.
No, not at all. I go down there and check it out.
I bet nobody asked them before they send them down there to play their last game.
Right.
Matt Gasson, let me bring this up. Actually, I have it up there for you guys right now on this bonus coverage pair of 41 and 2. Playing in still, like we were talking about, and that ball did not corner like he expected it to, and left not a flat 10, but it was a 10 nonetheless. We're waiting for a pin to be reset on lane 42. That's why George is not throwing. They need to add the 7 pin to what he's got. So he's got the washout with a rail.
This is exciting last game coverage, guys. Get out there and share it with your friends. Tell everybody on social media that you're watching Game 4 of the semifinal action. We're getting ready to cut to the top 12 here at the Logo Infusion InsideBowling.com Open.
So there's a little stall down here. Let's take a look at what's going on down there on 31 and 2 and see who we've got. Looks like Ryan Powers is up on the right lane down there on 31 and 2, so he throws it nice. That would be Tim Barrett then going to be on that pair. Tim, where's Tim at? Tim's out of the number right now, right?
Tim is out of the number. He's in 18th place at plus 173. And I did just see in the chat here, Dennis, that Doug Moss here saying that the 7 pin fell for George and that the rack did not hit it. However, George has already had that 7 respotted and shot at the spare.
Right.
None of us up here had eyes on that, or were paying attention, I should say. We were kind of checking out some other cameras and doing some scoreboard watching here. So none of us happened to catch that.
That'll be something that we can get Mike Flanagan to make a call on. The way it worked, George ended up missing the spare, but he hit the 3 pins that he would have been shooting at if that would not been down there.
That is correct.
Right now, so.
Do we know where John Trzynski's bowling this game? Is he down on the high end by you guys?
John's right. John should be just to the left of the featured pair, right?
29 and 30, I believe.
He is.
29 and 30. Yep. Thanks, guys, for pointing that out. I'm not sure that we have instant replay authorization.
We have it, but it only goes back 1 minute.
That's not what I mean.
Oh.
I'm talking about being able to use instant replay to give us a ruling on something. So.
Well, we've done that before. Tournament director came up and watched the instant replay, but we had to go back on YouTube.
Gotcha.
And luckily, we had paused the stream. I'm not sure of our situation today.
All right. No, it's not that specifically. They made the call down there because none of the other competitors saw it either. If the competitors had seen that pin fall, then they would have made that call as well, and they didn't see it.
I got lane assignments worked out for the bubble.
Cool, thank you.
So, I'm going to hold on to it, but when you guys need scores,
all right,
I'll be able to get them pretty quickly for you.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Rob Gottschall just went through the nose for a 4-6 and only took the 6 pin, so he's got 54 in the 4th right now.
41 and 42, Dennis. This pair has just looked squirrely from the get-go. I mean, it goes to show just with some of the stats that Ricky provided us after 2 games, they are just not scoring well.
And on 39 and 40, which I'm going to switch over to in just a second here, we've got somebody with the front 4, and that could be another huge game.
There's something going on down here. 27 and 28. It looks like Matt McNeil left the 1-4-7, but looks like the 1 moved backwards a little bit, almost to the 5-pin spot, and nobody's sure if the rack did that or not. And Matt McNeil's going to get a ruling on what to do. He's up at the front counter right now.
I think he's actually interviewing the front counter person to find out what her opinion on it is.
Yeah, no. He was talking to Dave Watka, and nobody down there actually saw what happened.
Okay.
Matt is not doing so hot this game. He's 57 in the 4th with a strike, and then now the 7 count up in the 5th and 6th.
He's going to need a little bit of help, Matt, because he is currently in 16th place plus 188, and that puts him 30 out of the number. So he's going to need to basically must-strike situation and needs a little bit of help from some of the players ahead of him.
Dave Watka's on this pair as well.
How is Dave doing? According to Ricky in the chat, it looked like after 6, he's got 9 spare triple, 9 spare strike.
That's true. That's very true. He's got a little bit of a break while they work on McNeil's situation. They are moving the pin. They're positioning it. Guys, the 2-pin. They're moving it to the 2-pin spot. He now is shooting at the 2-4-7.
Okay.
And spares it. Aaron McCarthy, though, has opened up game number 4 here with Turkey 9 spare through 4. She's now up in frame 5. Aaron McCarthy at plus 185. Just 11 pins out of the bubble, it looks like.
Thanks, guys. Matt, if Mike Flanagan is monitoring, could he come down to the booth, please?
Do not think he is. I think he's. I'll go.
Okay, thanks. So George is up again on lane 42 and just left a bucket on the left for a left-hander. A 3-5. This is one of those I got to concentrate on. 3-5-6-9.
You got to think twice before you
And Matt
speak.
Gasson turns around and he loves that, right? Right. Strike up on the left lane. He's in the right part of the lane right now. If the ball's going to the pins like now and he's not paying the price for that kind of a hit, that's got to be the right part. That was a nice shot by Austin Bolds on on lanes 39 and 40.
So Matt needs a lot of help here. He just left a 7-pin on his next shot.
Yeah.
Covers it.
You got it.
Aaron McCarthy left a 2-pin.
All right, I got a question in the chat here from Doug Moss. Jeff Fair and Ken Abner, location in the standings. Jeff Fair currently 24th at plus 126. Ken Abner 27th at plus 113.
Dave Wadka now up. Still playing in the inside part of the lane. Almost leaves the 7-9, and he's not happy. The 7 falls out late, leaving just the 9, but he really wanted that strike.
We're currently watching 31 and 32. Charles Easton breaking up the 4-6, a fortuitous break there. Charles in 6th at the moment at plus 257. About 40 pins ahead of the number right now.
All right, folks, I'm not going to jump the gun on a ruling here. I'm going to wait till it happens to make sure that I understand exactly what's going to happen. But I'm going to preliminarily say thanks, you guys, for your help in the chat. And you might have an idea where we're going with this. And we're silent right now because we're listening to Mike talk to the players down here on 41 and 2.
Do we have a camera on that meeting?
Let me see if I can do that.
It might be a little bit tucked back into the settee with the meeting going on
It
there,
is.
Matt.
Okay.
Might not
What's the rule over?
The
I
ruling
missed
is
that.
the ruling is over. What we were talking about a while ago with the instant replay seeing something.
Oh.
So basically, what's happened, and thank you guys again in the chat. Here's what's happening on George Gohagen's third frame. He had a 1, 3, 6, 7 standing initially. The 7 fell out, and it was verified by a number of people in the chat, and actually verified by a YouTube replay. So rewind, anyways, and brought back. So what we've done here is when he shot that spare, he actually hit the 1, 3, and 6 like he would have if it would have been a 7 spare. That's all he was shooting at.
Oh.
So we are crediting him with 7 spare instead of 6-3 in that frame.
Interesting. Going back to the low end, guys.
All right. So thanks again for the help in the chat, and I'm sure George is grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. Eyes everywhere. Appreciate you guys out there watching.
And, I mean, typically we would be watching. We'd have 3 people up here, and somebody might have seen that, but it's a busy time.
Yes, we're trying to get you guys all the good math and try to keep you as up to date as we can here. So my head was down, buried in some numbers. And
right. There's Ryan Powers just now throwing on lane 32. Nothing spectacular going down here. There's a couple of par games that are going on and a couple of games that are about, looks like 15 and 5 under at this point. Charles Easton, oh my goodness. Hits the 10 pin with the ball falling off of the lane at the same time. I mean, that ball could have easily fallen in the gutter right before it hit the 10 pin, but it caught it. I saw it happen, so he gets
thin living right there.
Yes.
Guys, Matt McNeil needs a lot of help. A lot of help. He's 8 pins out of the bubble right now, and he's just sparing like the Dickens. He's got 9 spare in the 8th with a 115 in the 7th.
I don't think that's good news for Matt McNeil there, Matt, because right now 12th place I have is Kyle Anderson at plus 218 on the sheet. So that puts Matt 30 pins out and not looking good at the moment.
Kyle on 36. Sorry, guys. 35 and 36.
Right. He's the bottom left-hand bowler on 35 and 6. At least I think he would be the B bowler maybe.
B bowler. Okay.
I think.
He has he's got 91 in the 5th with a 6 spare in the 6th. And he's up right now.
Sparing like the Dickens. I've not heard that terminology before.
Those are phrases from our morning show.
Gotcha.
The morning after here in St. Louis.
Morning after. J.R. Raymond right now up on the right lane, 41 and 2. Nobody really likes this pair, but J.R.'s got 66 in the 4th frame, and he's figured out how to put a double up there right now. This would be for 3 in a row. And I'm sure he wants to move up a little bit from where he's at. That was a good shot, a very nice shot. Looks like we're waiting on pins to be set on 41, so I'm going to go away from that pair and come back down here and catch 31 and 2. Looks like this is going to be Tim Barrett making a shot on the right lane. Tim's got 97 in the 5th frame right now with a strike up, so this strike for him being, 20-some pins out of the number?
Tim Barrett right now is down in 18th place at plus 173, so he is just about a little over 40 pins out at the moment. 45 out. So
he needs all these. He needs all these strikes and then something nice to happen above him.
Yes, must-strike situation for Tim here.
And he gets it.
That was a very nice
shot
right there.
Too.
John Trzynski down here has on 29 and 30. He's got 290 max score through 6 frames. He's up now in the 7th. John.
We're going to be able to see him on the lane just to the left of that pair. So
John is sitting in
watch this.
10th at 222 over, so he's probably going to be safe. He gets the next strike there.
Yeah, that was a good shot. That was a very good shot. We saw Cam Doyle throw to the pair on the pair to the right. We got George Gohagen up now, and I'm going to bring you back down here to 41 and 2. George with a double up on the screen.
Max score of 222 here for George.
Right. Even giving him back that spare in the 3rd frame, he's only 72 in the 5th frame with a double up, so that's 101 in the 6th right now. He's still struggling bad on this pair. And here's Rob Gottschall trying to clean up the 10 pin that he's left up there after 3 strikes in a row, giving him 133 in the 7th. It looks to me like right now a 190s is a good game on this pair.
Absolutely. Anything right around 200 is fantastic on 41 and 42 right now.
Guys, Cameron Doyle down here on the bubble, tied with Dave Watka going into this game, has got a 246 max score. He's got 156 in the 7th with an 8 spare in the 8th. And I'm also watching Brad Miller, who's also on the bubble, just inside the cut line. Brad Miller has 115 in the 6th with a strike in the 7th.
So he could use a double right now is what you're saying, Matt.
Yes, he can really use a double.
All right, we're gonna watch Tim Barrett now up on the left lane on 31
here. Sorry, guys. Brad came in light, left the bucket without the 8. And he knew he needed it. He fell to the ground. Emotions are running wild right now.
like the Dickens. Tim Barrett making a shot now on the left lane. Needs all of these. He needs them. He needs them. And he did not get that one. He left the 2-pin. He knows it. He knows where he's at right now. That's going to give him 126 in the 6th frame. So possible 226, and that's not enough.
That's not going to be enough. That would max him out at plus 199.
And that's assuming that Kyle Anderson is going to be where he's at. Now, Matt had eyes on him a few minutes ago.
I'm right behind him right now. He left a 6-pin in the 8th frame. Kyle Anderson has got 129 in the 7th with a 9 count in the 8th. Up now. Spares it up.
From Ricky Matsko in the chat, Jake Entz chopped a 6-10. He has back-to-back opens right now. He has 205 left going into the 10th.
Oh, boy.
So,
well, he is in reasonable shape right now, sitting 4th at plus 262,
right.
So.
Right. So we've got eyes. Let's bring eyes back down on George Gohagen down here as he throws this shot. George is struggling a little bit this game. 201 max, and he strikes there, so now he can get up in the 10th frame. But I'm trying to figure out on that, is this the lane? That was the lane he's had some trouble on for most of the game. He struck the last 2 times on that lane, so that was a nice adjustment, whatever he did there. He's got a chance to capitalize on it and double in the 10th. J.R. Raymond going for a 6-10 across the lane right now on 3 in a row. He's got a possible 220 out, but on a 200 pace. Let's come back down here to 31 and 2.
Brett Shepard tossing a nice strike there.
That puts him at 164 in the 8th with the strike up in the 9th.
Yeah,
Rob Gottschall tickles the head pin and carries for 153 in the 8th. He's got 213 out with strikes, but he doesn't necessarily like that other lane. The other lane is the one that's been giving him trouble too. 2 opens out of 4. So
guys, Brad Miller down here on the bubble needed everything. Just inside the cut line, he came in light in the 8th frame, left the buck without the 7. He gets up on the left lane, washes out the super washout, the 1-2-4, 6-10.
We have a scoring update here from Ricky Matsko in the chat. Thank you, Ricky. We've got Matt McNeil finishing out with a 183, so that is going to put Matt outside of the number.
Nice
and
job,
Dave
Wadka.
Wadka, 245 that last game. That is going to bump Dave up to plus 240.
That's huge.
That is a large jump. What a good finish by Dave.
Right. Matt Gasson, a 3rd one in a row now. That he was at 103 in the 6th, and so now he's over at least in this game. He saved the game. He was in good shape as well, though, going into this game. So he's just trying to maintain position up there at the top.
Brad Miller can strike out for 187 this game.
Thank you.
He will be up in the 10th.
And he was only 3
Plus,
pins
yeah.
into the number,
Yeah,
so he's going to need some help here. And Kyle Anderson looks like he is up on lane 36. Is that correct?
He is. Kyle Anderson is up, 9th frame. Gets all 10 back. He's got 149 in the in the 7th. I'm sorry, 8th with a strike in the 9th.
And we just had George Gohagen here get the first hit in the 10th on lane 41.
Absolutely.
Cameron Doyle struck. First ball of the 10th, that gives him a double. He can shoot, and I was incorrect. He can shoot 236 with 2 more strikes here. He'll pass Kyle Anderson, won't he? Kyle can only shoot 209. It looks like.
Rob Gottschall max 193 with a strike to fill up this 10th frame in this end of game 4. George Gohagen right now trying to make this a 200 game. He got in on that shot, but that carried a nice solid shot.
10 back. That's a good save right there by George.
Very good save. So he's not going to drop any in the plus minus category, but could lose some ground in the field. Let's come back over and catch this last shot by Rob Gottschall.
Cameron Doyle struck the second ball in the 10th.
9-pin there for a 192 finish for
And
Rob.
that pretty much says what Rob thinks of this pair right now. I think that last shot. I don't know what you think there, but
I'm going to go with yes. That
yes.
pair was that pair is a little brutal at the current moment.
We're gonna watch George's last shot here in the 10th, and then watch Matt try to close this game out. Matt's got 223 out. He'll first strike in the 10th puts him in the 2 teens, and he could close the gap on first place a little bit.
Trying to keep up with information in the chat provided by Ricky. We've got Kyle Wilkson at 203. It puts him at plus 193. Looks like Aaron McCarthy is 165 in the 7th, 7 spare in the 8th, and left a 10-pin.
On your screen right now, Matt Gasson up on the right lane. This is lane number 42 here at Tropicana Lanes in St. Louis. Matt playing that inside line that not a lot of other people were playing out here right now, and he strikes on the first ball in the 10th, so that puts him in the 2 teens.
That's a pretty good shot there by Matt, too. J.R. Raymond up now on lane 41, 164 in the 8th, strike working, 224 max score.
And that one goes high and leaves a 6-8.
And that looked like it hooked at about 30 feet and just froze.
Right, and JR's got that a little abbreviated delivery that he does right there, and that seemed like it worked yesterday when they needed the ball to get into a roll. And it looks like there might be more friction, like people were predicting today out there, and the ball's not going as far down the lane as they expected it to. All right, Matt's happy with that. 191 in the 8th. 1 pin gives him 210. 2 pins are cleaning this up, gives him 211.
How are we looking on Trzynski, Brandon Hott pair?
Let me go down there and see if we can watch this.
And JR just chopped the spare. He took the 6 off the 9 for 192.
192, yeah. We're watching Tim Barrett, who left an 8 pin on lane 31. Trzynski is going to be to the pair on the left here if we can catch those.
Yeah.
And
down here, he's got the 4-10 split in the 9th frame up. He has 204 in the 8th with that split.
Ryan Powers makes his 10 pin on lane 32, and I can see the 410 standing there.
Kyle Anderson looks like he just struck the first ball in the 10th.
Check. He did strike. He's working on a double, 9th and first ball of the 10th frame. He's got 149 in the 8th.
Tim Barrett throwing one final shot there and taking the arm support off at that point. He moved in and tried to see what would happen there just out of curiosity, and it wasn't the right place to go. He did strike on his last ball, but Tim's not going to be joining us for the top 12, and I'm sure he's disappointed about that. Folks, right now we can't really see what's going on 31 and 2. We don't have a camera. Actually, I got a camera on one pair of action still here.
31 and 2 is on. 29 and 30 is McCarthy's pair.
Right. And we got a little action here in front of us still on 37 and 8, which we can kind of see off to the side. So I've got the camera there. We've got some scores in here. Ricky says Brandon Hott has got a possible 258, and this was a couple of moments ago.
Yes.
So, where was he?
He's down here.
No, I don't.
29 and 30.
I understand.
Brandon
that.
Hott in the standings, 5th place, plus 261. He could actually jump into the lead if he strikes out.
That's crazy.
He could jump into the lead. George Gohagen in the clubhouse at plus 308 after that 201 save on
Aaron
41-42.
McCarthy had 224.
Thank
224 for Aaron.
Thank you, Matt.
That puts her at plus 209, and I think that's going to be close.
209.
Maybe just out.
Okay.
Because current number at plus 218, and again, there's some shaking up going around here. The cut number might go down depending on.
Kyle Anderson.
Kyle Anderson is the B bowler, and he shot
197 for Kyle Anderson.
Thank you.
197.
So he lost 3 pins.
That puts him at plus 215.
So he's 6 pins ahead of Aaron.
That's
Cameron
correct.
Doyle. Let me see.
Yeah, where is Cameron at? Because
Cameron
and
is-
Brad, I need their scores.
Brad Miller is. I marked him out. I'll get you a score here in a
Okay.
second.
And then John Trzynski, Brandon Novak, still bowling, it looks like, down there.
Yeah, they Cameron's at plus 230.
So Cameron finished at plus 230, so that means he shot
We're
235?
you can figure that number out, but we're getting an
Yeah,
idea here of something that's
235.
going on. So
Yeah, I'm thinking
this is Jerry Anderson, folks, by the way, the tournament director.
I'm thinking the cut is going to be 215.
That would be Kyle Anderson.
Correct. And then I think Erin McCarthy just left a 4-pin to get her. I think she ended up at 209.
That is correct.
And then Brandon was throwing his 10th frame, and he could get to 207, I think, if he struck. So I'm thinking.
And that was Brandon Novak or Brandon
215?
Hott?
Novak.
Okay.
And
What
then you had Dave Watka, who shot 240 to get into the cut.
And what we figured a moment ago, Brandon Hott could strike out and take the lead right now.
Right. No, it's close.
Right
yeah,
now?
Anybody getting the top 12 has a chance to still win this tournament.
Right. And he strikes on the first ball. You can tell by the emotions as he comes off the approach. And we can't really see him. I'm going to go down there and see for sure, but I don't think we can see him. Maybe we can, just enough to see off to the left. This is our feature pair, 31 and 2, but he's bowling on lane 30. And you'll be able to see the pin reaction anyways as the ball goes down lane. He's throwing his second shot in this 10th frame of his 4th game this morning in the Cashers round. One more shot to take the lead or two? Does he need all the pins in the fill?
Let's see. He would need this hit and count, I believe, to get there.
Did we confirm it was 215, guys? Is that
That's what
Jerry's.
I figured it was 215.
215? Unofficially, of course.
Right.
Yeah, that means Erin McCarthy just missed that she was at plus 209.
Right, and then we think Brandon Novak ended up 207
Okay.
if he struck on his
Let me.
last ball.
Do you know what letter he was?
I think he had one. He was going into the 10th
He did
shooting
strike on the last
170.
ball. Oh, his second to last ball. Oh, that's Brandon Hott. We're looking for Brandon Novak.
Too many Brandons here. I should change my name quick.
No, he didn't. Brandon Hott,
40,
58.
258 for
Yeah,
Brandon Hott.
He did. So is that our new leader?
That is our new leader. He is plus 319 by my math.
So thanks, Jerry, for coming and letting us know what you see here. We are finished, folks, with this 4-game Cashers round. We will give you some official scores in just a second, so we're going to hang with you. But basically what's going to happen now is the lanes will be reconditioned for the start of our 12-game round-robin match play. Traditional match play on a schedule. And we're going to listen to the announcement.
We'll have the results here in a second. For those that do make the top 12, we plan on starting practice at 11:30.
So they're going to do practice at 11:30. 11:30 Central Time is when we're going to come back with bowling. We're gonna hang out though and get you the scores though.
Exactly.
But that's when the match play round will start. Just shy of 1 hour from now.
They do this pretty simply. They'll rank the bowlers in order, use a traditional 12-team league schedule, and bowl 12 games. So it'll be 11 games, one match against each of the other competitors. Winner gets 30 bonus pins. We will take a short break after 11. We will make sure that all the scores are absolutely accurate, put them back out there again strategically in front of the camera so that we can see where 4, 5, and 6 are probably in the step ladder at that point, and watch a very exciting position round that will decide who's going to have a chance at that $10,000 top prize tonight. I'm still saying tomorrow night. It's not Saturday anymore, guys.
That is correct.
We're going to do it tonight at 7 o'clock here at Tropicana Lanes in St. Louis. So We are hanging out, though, until we get an official score, so we'll continue to talk. Brandon, what did you see this morning that surprised you? Who didn't make it that you thought was definitely going to be in there?
You know what? Let me take a look here. Let me go back to Game 1 standings here just so I can kind of give myself an idea here. Jimmy Cook's look in the practice session, I really thought he was going to be able to make a good run at it. And the fact that he didn't put together enough strings at the right point in time to get there kind of shocks me a little bit. But he was kind of grinding away on the fresh a majority of the time. His big scores really came when they were a little bit more developed, and I believe that usually started around Game 4 or Game 5. So that one kind of shocks me a little bit. Outside of that, what's really impressed me is Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson's run has been very, very good. I mean, he started off the day down in the 20s, if I'm not mistaken.
And I've seen Kyle bowl in a number of tournaments up in the, let's say, the central Illinois area. I work with Jeff Carter very closely on a bunch of tournaments, and Kyle's bowled on tough stuff up there. Kyle, for me, Kyle is a good example that you don't always have to have a perfect style to execute and do things.
100%.
And he, you know, the way he gets to the line, if you're not ready, I mean, let's say you've not bowled next to him and you might be just a couple of pairs down, and he's jumping up there and ready to go. He'll run up on you and you won't be expecting it. Get used to it, obviously. It's not a big deal when he does it. You just don't know that it's coming.
Sure.
But Kyle can repeat shots with the best of them, I'll tell you.
And we have the final results in, courtesy of Tournament Director Jerry Anderson, your new tournament leader. And if you can hear Mr. Mike Flanagan coming over the microphone here.
Position is Kyle Anderson at plus 215.
You heard it here first, folks.
Leading is Brandon Hahn at plus 319. Second, Jason Wojnar at plus 310. Third position, George Cohagen III at plus 308. In fourth, J.R. Raymond at plus 272. In fifth, Rob Gottschall at plus 270. In sixth, Matt Basson at plus 261. In seventh, Jacob Gens at plus 257. In eighth, John Trzynski at plus 253. Ninth, Charles Easton at plus 247. 10th, Striking Dave Watka at plus 240. 11th, Cameron Doyle at plus 230. And again, the cut number in 12th position was Kyle Anderson at plus 215.
And there you have it, folks.
To give honorable mention and wish her the best of luck this year on the PWBA Tour to our 13th finishing position, Erin McCarthy. Great bowling, Erin. It's a pleasure to have you in the field as always. She finished in 13th position at plus 209. Good luck in the PWBA this year, Erin.
So we'll be coming out back at 11:30. Is that correct?
We are coming back at 11:30 to
Yeah,
start
they're
practice.
going to start practice. We might come in early as I join the booth here real quick for a little pregame show.
Welcome,
Maybe
Matt.
talk a little bit about it. I know Bo Burton should be here for match play. Dave Lamont is here already to cover match play.
Right.
It is one round of bowling. No surface adjustments between games. It is one round.
What is that?
The ruling, everybody was asking about what was around because USPC rules prohibit adjusting the surface of your bowling ball with an abrasive
okay.
during a round. And so basically what he was giving us was the definition of what a round is here. And that means that while they're practicing, during for the round robin, they can do what they want to out there. And then once that round starts all the way through all the games, they're not allowed to change their ball surface again at that point. So.
Okay, well, for as the scores are now announced, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to leave the stream on, bring up a quick graphic. That way you know what time we're going to come back. We're going to take a short break while they oil lanes. We'll be back just shy of 11:30 Central Time from Tropicana Lanes. I'm Matt Turek for Dennis Hacker and Brandon Allred, brand manager at Logo Infusion, our title sponsor.
That's him.
We'll see you back at 11:30. Have a good one.